You are lying in bed at 2 in the morning.
Oh, the classic late-night inspiration strike.
Right. You finally see the perfect app layout clearly.
Crystal clear in your head.
Exactly. But by the time you actually reach your desk,
It is completely gone.
the magic of that idea vanishes almost entirely. You just stare at a terrifying blank software canvas.
It is the absolute worst feeling.
Because translating that vision takes immense specialized technical skill. You wrestle with margins instead of building your vision.
Yeah, the final product rarely matches your beautiful idea. That is the eternal struggle of digital creation.
We usually just accept that terrible loss of fidelity.
We really do. We tell ourselves it is normal professional friction.
But the tools are finally starting to catch up. Welcome to this deep dive into Claude Design.
I am so excited for this one.
It is a brand new web tool from Anthropic. It runs entirely on their Claude Opus 4.7 model.
Which is their advanced vision model, right?
Yeah. It is an AI that interprets images perfectly.
It completely changes how we approach visual workflows today.
It really does. So today, we are exploring how this unique system operates.
We're going to walk through building real functional projects together.
Right. We will cover corporate slide decks and landing pages.
And we will explore the interactive prototypes and motion graphics.
Then we will discuss its current limitations and boundaries.
Because it is definitely not perfect yet.
Definitely not. Finally, we will see how it bridges toward actual code. But I have to admit something right up front.
Ooh, let's hear it.
I still wrestle with prompt drift myself today.
Oh, man. Do not we all?
I type a highly specific prompt into the AI, and the resulting output becomes incredibly generic almost immediately.
It just loses your personal visual style very quickly.
Yeah. It is an incredibly frustrating experience for a creator.
It really happens to absolutely everyone using AI. You get that recognizable, slightly soulless template look.
I know exactly what you mean.
It is the hallmark of lazy artificial intelligence generation.
Well, Claude Design tackles that specific problem right away. It fixes the generic look right at the foundation.
How does it actually do that, though?
So, to avoid that generic AI look entirely today, we absolutely must start at the very beginning.
Which is the design system setup, right?
Exactly. The most crucial step is the setup phase. You have to teach Claude your specific identity.
Right, you teach it your brand, colors, and fonts.
You establish your exact spacing preferences right away. You solidify your visual style during this phase.
You really cannot skip this foundational setup work.
So you gather your logos and your brand documents. Instead of starting from scratch, you upload those assets.
You can upload screenshots of your current website, too.
Or even your existing polished slide decks. It analyzes the spatial relationships and visual hierarchies.
And I saw something about linking a GitHub repository.
Yeah, that is essentially cloud storage where developers keep code. You point the AI to a specific folder.
Like where your React component library might live.
Right. React is a toolkit for building website interfaces.
Right, and it absorbs the exact aesthetic directly.
It is wild. It pulls your corporate look from raw code.
It maps out your exact hex colors and padding.
The processing time usually takes about 15 minutes. You just keep the browser tab open while working.
And then it outputs a remarkably comprehensive brand identity review.
It categorizes your primary and secondary color palettes beautifully.
It reviews your typography, including specific font families.
It even catalogs complex UI components like navigation cards.
It is incredibly thorough at understanding your visual language.
But here is a really crucial pro tip today.
Yeah, pay attention to this part.
Sometimes Claude flags your specific brand fonts as missing. The typography might even look correct on the screen.
But if it complains, upload the raw font files directly.
Exactly. You just drop in those .ttf files, then you turn on the publish toggle setting.
So all your future projects automatically use this style.
Right. You are giving an architect exact structural blueprints here. You are not just vaguely asking for a house.
Yes, you are handing them the exact building materials. It is a massive paradigm shift for design generation.
But wait, if I link a GitHub repo, is it going to get confused by all our backend code?
So you only link specific UI subdirectories, not your entire giant code base.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So our AI knows the brand identity thoroughly.
But having pretty colors does not mean it is actually useful.
Right. How do we build something functional with this?
Let's put that custom brand identity to work.
Let's start with a very common corporate task. We are going to build a functional slide deck.
Slide decks are honestly the easiest starting point.
You just select the slide deck project type first. You apply that exact design system we just built.
You can even choose to include dedicated speaker notes.
Which is great. It handles the drudgery of corporate presentation formatting.
But you still have to provide solid initial context.
Yeah, you can type text or upload a PDF. You can paste an outline or rough screenshots.
And then Claude asks you several vital follow-up questions.
Right. It wants to know your specific target audience. It asks if this is a live webinar event.
Or maybe it is an asynchronous recorded team update.
Why does it need to know that?
Those answers deeply shape the entire layout strategy. A live presentation needs sparse text and big visuals.
While an async update needs far denser reading material.
Exactly. It is actually thinking about the end user's experience.
It is not just mindlessly throwing text onto slides.
No, the initial generated draft gets you 80% there.
But you still need to refine the details, obviously.
Right. And you use 3 specific editing modes for this.
Okay, break those down for us.
The first editing mode is simply called tweaks. Tweaks are for fast, broad changes across designs.
Like using simple sliders for dark mode toggles?
Yeah, or you can easily sweep through different accent colors.
That sounds fast. What is the second mode?
The second mode is direct editing for precision. It gives you incredibly granular control over elements.
So you just click any element to change fonts.
Exactly. You easily adjust alignment, padding, and margin spacing.
It feels very similar to traditional design software then.
Very much so.
Yeah.
But the third mode is wild.
Right. The third mode utilizes comments and drawing directly.
This is where the vision model truly shines.
You literally draw straight on the digital canvas itself. You can write notes like, make this less empty.
It is my absolute favorite feature of the tool. You just circle a blank space and ask.
And Claude analyzes the surrounding context and builds charts.
It understands the spatial layout of your design perfectly.
But wait. If I draw a messy circle on an empty corner, will Claude actually understand what I mean?
Yes, it combines your rough sketch with your written note to figure it out.
That is incredibly intuitive. So slide decks are incredibly great for internal meetings.
But public-facing projects feel a lot riskier, honestly.
Yeah. Can it handle a polished customer landing page?
Absolutely. Let's move to the other and prototype types.
These are specifically for building landing pages and mockups.
And landing pages are actually one of its strengths.
You choose the other project type for this. Let's say you want a workshop registration page.
You ask for a schedule and an instructor bio.
You just provide the basic informational bones of it.
But Claude does not just write out plain text, though.
Right. It builds a smart, fully styled web framework.
It automatically applies a warm, neutral editorial visual style.
It uses trustworthy serif fonts for premium feels. It even auto-adds a dynamic seat countdown timer.
It understands the mechanics of web conversions naturally.
It automatically creates info tables and sticky action bars.
And it writes catchy marketing copy you can swap out.
You get a working first version in literally minutes.
It is significantly faster than starting from scratch alone.
You can also choose to build interactive prototypes.
Right. You might choose a simple wireframe layout focus.
Or you go for a polished high-fidelity format.
Okay.
Claude Auto suggests 3 distinct aesthetic directions for you.
Yeah, like editorial warm or quiet minimal styles.
You might even choose a soft pop aesthetic.
And you can easily compare these different aesthetic directions.
It maintains absolute consistency between grids and buttons. The vision model understands color theory and spatial relationships.
And here is the best part. These are fully live prototypes.
Which is wild. It is like stacking Lego blocks of data together.
But Claude already perfectly laid out the base plate.
You can actually test the functional user journey.
It is so satisfying to click through them.
So do I have to manually copy these prototype layouts into another tool to test them?
No, you hit present right there and click through the live user flow.
That saves so much time. Beep. Now, static designs are visually impressive on their own.
Oh, for sure. But the tool hides a truly wild feature.
It turns dry numbers into dynamic animated visuals.
We are talking about complex, interactive motion graphics here.
This completely blew my mind during my testing.
I know, right? You just upload a screenshot of benchmark data.
You can upload feature comparison tables from simple spreadsheets.
You can even use a messy hand-drawn sketch.
And Claude uses OCR to extract those exact numbers.
Which is software that extracts text directly from images.
Right. It perfectly extracts complex numbers from your uploads.
It grabs figures like 2,500,000 easily.
You just describe how the element should behave.
Well, perfectly. might be a slight stretch, honestly.
Yeah, it's still a research preview, but it is close.
It applies incredibly smart design thinking to data.
Give me an example of that.
Say you are comparing 900 to 3 million. Standard AI makes the smaller bar completely invisible.
Right, because the scale is just too massive.
Exactly. But Claude automatically calculates a logarithmic scale for you.
So it ensures the smaller numbers remain perfectly visible.
Yep. It does the math and the design simultaneously.
Whoa! Imagine it reading a messy, handwritten bar chart and calculating the logarithmic scale entirely on its own.
It is completely wild to see it happen live.
It adds technical fonts like IBM Plex Mono automatically.
And these animations are entirely code-based under the hood.
They use standard HTML, CSS, and JavaScript code.
They even include interactive replay buttons for users.
That brings us to the handoff to Claude Code.
This is where the real paradigm shift happens.
You easily package your entire visual design intent. You run a generated command in your terminal.
And Claude Code builds the actual functional software application.
It bridges the gap from picture to software. You shape the aesthetic visually in the browser.
Then you build the product functionally in code.
Traditionally, engineers spend hours translating designs manually.
Which is tedious and prone to so many errors.
This eliminates that tedious translation phase almost entirely.
It is a massive leap forward for development speed.
So if I want to post this slick animation on LinkedIn, how do I export the video file?
You cannot. You have to screen record the code-based animation yourself.
Ah, got it. Good to know.
Yeah, it is a small workaround for now. Mid-roll sponsor read.
All right, before we get entirely carried away by magic,
We really need to ground ourselves in reality.
we must understand the current boundaries and limitations, because this tool is not entirely flawless just yet.
Right, it is still in a research preview phase. The biggest constraint is the separate weekly quota.
It sits entirely outside your regular Claude chat limits.
And heavy computational tasks eat this up incredibly fast.
Those code-based motion graphics will definitely drain your allowance.
So you have to be strategic about when you use it.
There are also some frustrating technical constraints today.
Like the inline canvas comments.
Yeah, they will sometimes just disappear entirely.
It is a bug that really disrupts your workflow.
The fallback is pasting your feedback directly into chat.
Which works, but it is not as seamless.
There is also no real-time collaborative co-editing yet. You cannot work simultaneously with others like in Figma.
That is a bummer for remote design teams.
It also cannot handle complex character animations yet.
Right, you cannot do intricate Lottie-style animation work.
Lottie animations are complex, scalable vector graphics for websites.
It just does not understand that level of motion.
You have to stick to UI-focused element animations.
Which is fine for most corporate work anyway.
True. To master this, you must follow best practices.
Treat it as a professional collaborator, not a generator.
Provide high-quality context like PDFs or code snippets, and you must be technically specific with written prompts.
Yeah, do not just say, make this look better. Tell it, tighten spacing between cards to 8 pixels.
You need to build your projects incrementally, always. Start with core layouts, then add your polish.
Because if you rush it, the outputs get messy.
Here is a fantastic pro tip for daily workflows. Ask Claude to perform a targeted self-audit later.
Oh, I love this feature so much.
It will actually check your design for proper accessibility. It measures text contrast ratios against background colors.
It evaluates the overall usability of interface elements.
It acts as its own quality assurance department.
It catches layout mistakes you might easily miss.
It is like having a senior designer review your work.
2-sec silence. It really is incredibly thorough.
But wait, does this automation just replace my design team for quick projects?
No, it is a speed boost for first drafts, not a replacement.
That is a very important distinction to make.
You still need human taste and strategic direction.
Speaking of direction, let's pull all of these complex concepts together.
Yeah, we have covered a lot of ground today.
We have covered design systems, prototypes, and motion graphics. We have looked at the boundaries of the system.
So what does this all mean for our listeners?
The core philosophy is a massive perspective shift. Claude Design transforms you from a blank page creator.
It turns you into an empowered design director.
You invest serious time up front in your system, and you completely bypass those generic AI visual outputs.
You get highly customized prototypes that match perfectly.
You get slide decks that actually look authentic.
It is about raising your baseline of quality instantly.
As tools bridge design and functional software code, the most valuable skill shifts entirely away from execution.
It isn't knowing how to draw the interface anymore.
It is knowing how to critique the user's experience. You curate the logic and the emotional resonance.
You become the critical editor of the entire process.
You are guiding the vision instead of pushing pixels.
It frees up your brain for high-level strategic thinking.
You focus on the why, not just the how.
That is exactly right.
So start very small with this tool this week. I challenge you to make just one branded deck.
Or build a simple landing page for work.
Save it as a reusable template going forward. You will see compound time savings start to accumulate quickly.
It is going to fundamentally change your weekly workflow.
And perhaps that frustrating gap between imagining beautiful designs and actually building them in the real world
Will finally start to close for you too.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive.
Thanks for listening, everyone. Keep experimenting out there.